Hey everybody, this is Moonbase Alpha. Thanks for watching. So I came outside today to demonstrate to you the absolute pinnacle of what a concealed carry gun can possibly be. As we all know, FBI gel tests don't really matter, and so what we're looking for is the absolute amount of penetration that we can get, the absolute top amount of power and penetration that we can get out of a concealed carry handgun. And to demonstrate that, I wanted to actually show you the gun that I think actually beats the 357 Magnum in every respect. It's got the same capacity, but at the same time, it is considerably more powerful. It gives you more penetration, more power, and there's no reason why you shouldn't go with this particular handgun for concealed carry. That would be this. This is a 6-inch, 629 Performance Center competitor, and this shoots the venerable 44 Magnum. And if it was good enough for Dirty Harry Callahan, it's sure as heck good enough for me for concealed carry. This is clearly the best concealed carry handgun. It beats a 357 Magnum in every respect. It is more powerful, it will give you more penetration, the bullet's wider so it's going to do more tissue damage. It's better in every respect than 357 Magnum. And again, like I said, FBI gel specs doesn't matter at all. It's not important for our consideration for a concealed carry handgun. Capacity is also not important. We're looking for the absolute most amount of power and penetration that we can get, and to that effect, the 629 chambered in 44 Magnum is going to give us that. So this is clearly the best concealed carry handgun on the market, and if you don't believe me, well, don't take my word for it. There are internet gun experts out there who would tell you that the 44 Magnum is, in fact, better than 357 Magnum in every respect, and is going to give you more power and more penetration, and is therefore the best gun for concealed carry. So clearly I'm trolling. I mean, obviously. This was one of the points that I tried to make during the whole 9mm discussion with the 357 Magnum comparison, was that there is a limit to what's acceptable for concealed carry. But the 44 Magnum and other revolvers of its ilk have a purpose, and for me personally, that's a lot of fun. This is called a competitor model because this would be a fantastic gun for shooting competition, specifically high power or bullseye at long range. And, you know, revolvers do have advantages over semi-autos. You can, in fact, put something like a 44 Magnum in a revolver. Now, you can put it in a semi-automatic too. It's called a Desert Eagle, but those have a mixed reputation for reliability. And, you know, at the end of the day, yes, I say revolvers are overstated in their reliability, but they are more reliable than a 44 Magnum Desert Eagle. That said, this is a really nice little revolver. This is made by the Performance Center of Smith & Wesson. So you'll notice a lot of things right off the bat. You'll get the Performance Center trigger on this particular one. It is an N frame, so it's not a scandium aluminum alloy frame. That's to the good because this is going to be a very heavy recoiling gun. It has a weight system on the barrel, which is actually going to help keep the muzzle down. Additionally, the barrel in and of itself is absolutely monstrous. It's huge. You do have a really nice LPA adjustable rear sight, which is, I think, fantastic. A few mounting points up here for a scope if you want to put a scope on this. The funny thing is, the 686 Performance Center that's set up very much like this in 357 Magnum on an L frame has true 1913 Picatinny rails up top, whereas this one here just has a few little slots on it where you can presumably put a rail system. It does have your standard magazine release, or cylinder release I should say, back here, which on 44s from Smith & Wesson I find tend to hit me in the thumb. So right there on the top of the thumb, the recoil is usually harsh enough to hit me in the thumb. On this particular gun it's not so bad, but I've owned 686s, or 629s, I'm sorry, in the past that have done that. So not the greatest in the world. It does come with a Hogue monogrip, which I kind of like. They're good grips. They do actually tend to work pretty well. And typical fit and finish you'll find from a Performance Center gun. So pretty good. It's very well made. I've never had any real serious issues with Performance Center guns other than the 325 TR, the Thunder Ranch version of the 325, which I just think was an abysmally poorly designed gun. It's sad because Clint Smith is kind of a legend in the industry, and I've said this before, but that is one of the worst designed guns I've ever seen. You know, he probably just signed off on it and got the royalty check, but you know, as far as I'm concerned, this is actually a pretty decent little gun. Not really useful for much of anything. I mean, practical, really. It's too much for home defense. It's very high recoil, hard to shoot. well quickly. But, you know, I think it's a lot of fun at the range, and, you know, if you're going to be the kind of person who likes to shoot and enjoys this shooting sports, a 44 Magnum, like any of the revolver rounds that are out there, is a fantastic choice. It is a lot of fun, and short of going with a 500 Smith & Wesson or a 460, this is going to offer you kind of the same experience, but a lot cheaper. One of the big disadvantages of 500 is it's ridiculously expensive to shoot. Same with 460 XVR, and this is going to be considerably less, and I think just as fun. You know, once you get past a certain point of recoil, it's no longer fun. It's actually just kind of punishing, and this is fun, not punishing. Anyway, I wanted to take a few shots with it. I've got some 240 grain Fiocchi GHPs. These are just kind of El Cheapo GHPs, or JHPs that I've had in my my inventory, and I'm kind of looking to get rid of them at this point. It is one of the calibers that, you know, I'm getting ready to, presumably, hopefully this year, I'll want to buy my first home, and it's one of the calibers that I've been trying to axe out. I've only got a few guns in 44 Magnum, and at some point I'd like to sell them this year and kind of get rid of that caliber out of my my inventory. That way I've got less to move, and I've got a little extra cash to put into the down payment. So this gun here probably at some point this year will get sold, because it's not really a practical gun for me, and I only have very few 44 Magnums, but it's still a lot of fun nonetheless. And finely fitted revolver, very little cylinder gap on this thing. Really, it's a fine pistol. So let's take a few shots with it, and I'll show you the recoil on this beast. Oh, these goggles. I couldn't find any other eye protection, so I had to grab these things on my way out. Every time I put them on, I just feel like, I'm from the internet, I'm here to help. Anyway, I use these for grinding and stuff. Anyway, let's take a few shots with the 44 Magnum here. This is a, again, model 629 Performance Center. Really a nice little handgun here. A little stiff on that extraction. You got to watch out with that on revolvers. You know, if you're shooting high pressure Magnum rounds, one of the things that I've noticed with revolvers that a lot of people don't talk about is when you go to eject these empties, if you got 6 of them that have all expanded into the cylinders, and one of the reasons why I would never recommend a titanium cylinder, because they gall and make this effect even worse, is the extraction of these is quite tight on Magnums. You have to really, you know, smack it. And, you know, even at that, it's almost impossible to extract. So I think a lot of people just kind of discount that. Really tough to do sometimes. You know, if you're shooting 357 or 44, that's something you got to look out for. Happens on some guns, and you got to keep them clean too, by the way. It's one of the things people don't, again, they don't talk about this on revolvers. They say revolvers are 100% reliable all the time. Well, you know what? You got to deal with some eccentricities on revolvers, and one of those is they will develop all sorts of carbon fouling on the inside of those cylinders, and that could be a little bit tough to work with, especially if you're using high pressure Magnums. So I think this is a very gentle shooting gun. I'm not going to shoot it much more than that, but it's very gentle for a 44. The gun kicks about like a stout 357. It's got a lot of weight on that barrel that's keeping it down, and you know, there's no muzzle brake on this thing. I think that would be the only thing that I would put on it to make it even more shootable, but and maybe a scope on the front there to give it some more weight. But you know, as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to shoot a 44 Magnum, this is a lot of fun. It is not punishing at all, in fact. This is one of those guns that I think is actually very gentle to shoot. And if you want to get into the big bore Magnum game, definitely look at the 329 Performance Center. This thing is a really nice, I'm sorry, 629 Performance Center competitor. It's a very nice pistol, so really cool. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys later.